we are officially waist deep into chapter 2 of our trip, the second half of our trip, which is choppy waters. And we've now made it to the part where we've done all of our adventurous stuff. And we're currently in a hot spring, in a natural hot spring at the Springs Resort, which is the fanciest hot springs in the La Fortuna area. Apparently this is where Kim Kardashian and Will Smith go.
It's definitely a bougier vibe than everything else we've done on the trip. Normally we want to do more like off the grid, underground stuff. This is a little bit nicer and bougie, but it's nice.
Like the balance, like we just had like 4 or 5 days of like horseback riding. This morning we literally were rappelling down waterfalls, which was potentially the coolest thing I've ever done. And you said you potentially liked that more than skydiving?
I did, because we were like free falling for so long.
Yeah.
Skydiving, it's like, it is an adrenaline rush, but it's so quick. Like when we were canyoneering
yeah.
today, it was like so much adrenaline for like 2 hours straight.
2 hours.
Just 2 hours. And we're more in control of it, whereas when you're skydiving, you're tandem.
You're tandem.
So the instructor is just like doing everything.
The skydive, in terms of experience, if you were to put it on a chart, it's like, oh, like that. Where this canyoneering was like, oh my God. And it just kept going up like that all until you did like the 50-foot waterfall that you literally rappelled down, getting splashed.
It's so fun.
And honestly, I love like the time in between each waterfall was like a super cool, unreal pathway. Like we literally had to go through like knee-deep water, and one of them had a poisonous snake in it, which apparently was not
poisonous snake
in Costa Rica. They said that if you're allergic to the venom, you die in like 5 minutes. Now, I feel like who's actually allergic to that? I mean, I guess you don't know, but whatever.
Really? I feel like who isn't allergic to a viper snake?
Yeah, I don't know. I've only had a viper sausage. I had snake sausage once in Tennessee.
And you didn't die?
Didn't die. So I think I'm bodying that bite from the snake. But it was a huge snake. And what was crazy is that the snake almost won. Remember like the 3 tour guys were trying to attack it with a stick, and the one guy fell?
Oh my gosh, that was crazy.
The craziest part though, and the most dangerous part of this whole trip was, first off, we were really close to that snake. Like the people in front, we were like about to walk in the water, and the people in front of us were like, snake in the water. And we were like next up. So we were this close to being like,
we would have been the prey.
Yeah, and I feel like they were kind of like tiptoeing in. I feel like I would have just walked in with rambunctious energy. I would have stepped on the snake.
Thank God.
Thank God they went. Thank God we were kind of last. But the craziest part was that then we had to, like, the rest of the group was like separated. We had to take that separate trail, and we had to like go down a super muddy trail just using like a rope. It was like Plan C.
Well, it wasn't a trail. It was just a cliff.
It was just a huge cliff with a rope, and they're like, yeah, just go down this, or go down the path with the snake.
I was like, I ain't going anywhere near that snake.
And what's crazy is they literally, like, no one even really helped us. When we were there, we kind of just went down the path. Like, thank God we're in shape. If you would have had anyone else, if you would have kept going down that mudslide, it went straight off the waterfall. Like, that was risky. That was a liability. Maybe it's just like my HR, Kenny, kicking in, but that was a liability. And I hate to say he's coming out mid-rappel. The past like 5 days, we've just been in pure off-the-grid mode. Like no AC, horseback riding in the, like all of that. So
no hot water showers.
No hot water showers. And I feel like when we're finally at this resort, and now that you're here, you're like, I want to be here like today and tomorrow, like the rest of the trip.
Yeah.
I think it was good balance. Like, look, if we were to come here like the whole 7 days and just be here, it'd be like, all right, like what are you doing?
Yeah, but we like earned this.
We earned this, and I actually almost liked the our strategy better of getting the Airbnb and then coming here.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to stay here.
Right, our Airbnb is sick. Our Airbnb is 10 out of 10.
I like want to be at our Airbnb though too.
That's
why I'm glad we didn't like overbook this portion.
Yeah.
Like I loved just being at our Airbnb this morning.
Oh my gosh, the open air double floor, 2 floors.
Beautiful.
Dude, if it had a washer and dryer, it'd be 10 out of 10 because we need that only because we just came from like this morning when the Airbnb lady saw us because she needed to help fix the hot
She
water.
was like, ooh.
She was like, oh my God, are y'all okay? Because we just got done like, the rappelling waterfall thing was like, that was perfect. But what we really need to talk about is our strategy in asking people for recommendations, because almost no matter where you go, you're always going to ask like the person, like whenever you go to a restaurant, it's like, oh, what do you recommend? And when you're on vacation, talking to people, what do you recommend? Everyone always wants to give recommendations because especially in a country like this where tourism is their number one in source of money. So many people we've talked to, like they went to college for tourism. That's what they do. That's their specialty.
That's how everyone makes their money here.
Everyone makes their money, and a lot of people, how they make their money is how they make meaning. So a lot of people want to give you recommendations. That's like what's giving them meaning, if they recognize it or not. Like the Airbnb lady, she just wanted to write I didn't even ask for the bus schedule. She just wanted to tell us the bus schedule, which I'm, so sweet. Thank you. Now I have the local bus schedule. But, they just want to give you recommendations. And I'll just start off with my strategy. There's not like I have not been able to find a simple answer to how you navigate asking for recommendations for like locals or workers. You almost get like two different types of people, or maybe three. I feel like some people, you ask them, what do you like? Let's just start with restaurants to like keep the example narrow. You ask them what their recommendation is, and they'll just, without thinking, with no passion, they'll just tell you like the answer, like their go-to answer. They'll just tell you like it's like your outfit, like, oh yeah, get the bloomin' onion, It's like, it's like, don't really like, they're just trying to get off the shift. You almost have to realize people, when you ask them, if they're asking you because they're getting paid to, it's almost like I'm trying to get off the clock type energy, or it's like, are they passionate about it? And then people who are like genuine and are surprised. Remember like the ice cream shop lady, when we asked her favorite, like she's passionate about ice cream, but she had it's like no one ever asked her what she recommended before.
She was like, you want to know what I
like?
What
I like? She's like, I like this super niche flavor.
Because she's probably sick of eating ice cream.
And that's the thing. Yes, you also have to understand when you ask workers, a lot of times if they tell you their genuine answer, they're giving you the genuine answer of like, I've done everything else, I'm just sick, I just want something different, It's almost like the people, it's like, yeah, I don't recommend the bloomin' onion. You ask me, I like, when our chef cooks me up a little fried chicken with extra cheese sauce off the menu, so you almost first have to see, are they just, it's like, are they passionate? And then it's like, how trustworthy are they? Like, how much are they like you? Because even for this trip, I would ask people, like, where to go in Costa Rica. And I had people who loved Costa Rica, and they're like, go to the resort the whole time. Go to the Pacific, stay at the resort. It was great, Kenny. I'll give you the whole thing. And it's like, all right, well, I'm asking you. It's almost like, do I look up to you? / would I ask you for advice? It's almost like you have to almost like respect, like have alignment with them as a person.
Well, you have to align with like things that you like to do, Older people probably don't want to be jumping off cliffs.
Right. So when I ask an older person where to go for our wild vacation, it's like, know what you're signing up for. And that's fair. And I think, you know what? Easy enough. There it is, clean answer. But separately, I feel like there's something we haven't talked about, which is like the advice we've been getting when you've been asking people questions. And every question you've asked, and even me, we have not gotten straightforward answers.
Everything is like a passive-aggressive response.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of passive-aggressive responses.
Would a monkey eat a sloth? Come on! What kind of question is that?
Right. Or when you asked our horseback riding guy, like you're like, do horses like to play in water?
Do they like water? They drink water.
They drink water.
I know they drink water.
It's like, sir, our horses are knee deep in the ocean. We're horseback riding in the ocean right now. Like, don't act like this is like a normal thing.
I know they drink water, but do they like swimming in the ocean when there's tidal waves?
and it's pouring. Right. It was so choppy. It's like, sir, I am riding this horse. I need to know if he likes this.
Right.
And he wouldn't let us feed him. He made us he had to be strict to the horses. I almost want to like talk about Costa Rican people, but it's a slip. I don't know, like, you know, you never want to stereotype. Like, not Costa Rican people in terms of like, yes, obviously they're so nice, pura vida, pure life. But in terms of the advice they give, in terms of my ability to get advice and get answered questioned from the people that I've talked to so far, the locals, speaking Spanish would help. Speaking Spanish would definitely help.
Spanish would help. I think the reason why they haven't been giving us great advice is because they're probably assuming that we want very like resort tourism responses. So they're probably telling us like the most highly rated tours,
right?
And
we're
stuff
like
that, and we're like, no, where do you like to go? And
Mm-hmm.
they don't understand that we like genuinely want to just like live like the locals.
Right, because even when we tried to make it clear, like, no, what do you like? We still get answers of like, oh, I've never done that, but it's really popular.
Well, the food is difficult too because a lot of them are like, yeah, well, a lot of people like that restaurant, but I don't want to wait in line. Or
Yeah.
it seems like people just live very simply here. Like they eat what they eat. You know, abuela's making tacos. That's what we're gonna eat. Like food doesn't seem like it's the center of their culture. They just eat what they eat.
That's true. Because we went to another soda today for lunch. Again, it was the highest rated soda local restaurant in the whole city.
It is good, authentic food, but it's just very simple food.
We literally got just like a piece of chicken breast, and then they just had a hot bar with like rice, beans,
Right.
coleslaw, macaroni.
Well, I'm sure the reason that they all recommend sodas is because it's bringing money to local families and supporting small businesses.
Okay.
So that's why they really want to encourage you to go to sodas. Whereas restaurants are more, you know, probably people that have moved to Costa Rica, already have money.
Yeah.
So that's probably why the locals are supporting sodas.
Okay. Fair. In terms of my recommendations, like so far, because we're kind of at the point of the trip now, like we're going to relax today and we might just relax tomorrow. We might not even do the hike. Potentially.
Right.
I have a couple things, I have like surprise things planned, but it's more on the relaxing side. And we'll get there when we get there. But anyway, I feel like us wanting to do like adventurous stuff, I feel like where I'd put my money is like spend the money on like a nicer stay, get air conditioning, like make like your stay really nice, but then get out and do like the local adventurous things. Like that waterfall rappelling thing, because if we would have had like air conditioning, washer and dryer.
Washer and dryer would have been crucial. Because everywhere you go, your clothes get soaking wet and dirty and muddy.
Yeah, I really tried to not overpack, and I almost feel like I underpacked.
I underpacked too.
I underpacked for the first time ever.
Just
Only because I didn't have a washer and dryer.
Wear a lot of things.
And it's raining all the time, so all like 80% of my clothes are completely soaked. Put the money towards the nice place, but then do the off-the-grid things. Do the whitewater rafting tour.
Yes.
Do the horseback riding. Like do the adventurous stuff. But in the nice stay like pays off, I feel like. Like this second place so much nicer than the first.
The first place was really beautiful though.
We literally had sloths in our front yard. I feel like there was something special about that.
I really liked it. I liked showering outside.
That's true. I would have rather done that than like stayed in like a hotel.
I liked it, but I'm glad that we weren't there the whole time.
Me too. This is a good change up. It's like a whole second vacation. That's another thing too, like when you go somewhere, it's like, this was like an issue I had when I went to Italy. It's like, you know, how many places do you go in Italy? It's like some people are like, oh, stay in one place and stay there for a whole week. And, you know, on day 5, you're going into the grocery stores, noticing the differences between your local one and theirs. And I felt like having 3 days there and about 2-3 days here was the perfect amount of time. I feel like because it's almost like 2 completely separate vacations.
I think it's perfect. And each place has been, not just the Airbnb, but the locations have been totally different vibes. Like the first place was a total beach vibe.
Yeah.
And this is like volcano.
Is there anything you've like learned from the way of living here? Anything you've picked up? I'll give an example. Like one thing that I thought was really interesting was Cebu, who is the indigenous people's god. And it's like Cebu's not a person. Cebu is like all nature. Like they see God in all nature, which I feel like you can almost connect that indigenous meaning of spirituality to more modern, hip versions of spirituality today, of like spirituality runs through everything.
I think my biggest takeaway has been that people that live in Costa Rica are very in tune with nature, and they genuinely believe that nature gives us everything that we need. So they're very aware of all the different things different benefits that plants offer, and they're always using plants for medicine and food for medicine, and it was mind-blowing to me, the tour that we went on, and like every single plant or tree that we would walk past, they would be like, this is this type of tree, we use it for this, this, and this, and they were like, one of the trees actually had glue, and they were like, yes, we use this tree as glue.
Yeah.
It's like, I've never heard of anything like that in the States. We don't use nature for anything. We just tear it down.
I don't know where the balance is, but I feel like, maybe in the US, like sometimes we take that too far. And then here, like there's definitely luxuries of some of the innovations we've had. Now, obviously a lot of the innovations in how we live is driven by money, so it's like not for the right reasons. But it definitely makes me want to like live more simply, live in nature more, and realize that's really all I need for myself. Like even just sitting with you, there was a time we're just like sitting on a hammock together. It's like, this is the life. I have everything I need right here. Like everything else is almost for other people.
Right. And I do love how simple they are. Like it doesn't always need to be like a fancy dinner. Like just bring a pineapple and cut it up in the woods and you got a good meal right there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they don't overcomplicate it.
Right, because that was their definition of Pura Vida. Pura Vida was like, people usually use it to describe the nature and how beautiful the nature is. But when we asked our tour guide, he was like, Pura Vida is just when we asked our whitewater rafting tour guide, he's like, Pura Vida, there was like a level of like optimism, like things are good.
He was like, it's a way of living positively.
I was also interested that like the indigenous people population is growing.
Well, I think it's because they're getting so much help. Like from the government. Like the government is providing them with
It's probably a great time to be indigenous.
Right. I also found it really cool how all of the locals are friends with the indigenous people and like they talk to them and
I like how everyone kind of shakes up.
Yeah, like they all are like real, recognize real.
And I like how our tour guide was interacting with the indigenous. What do you say to them is like, how is your work going? Like, how hard is it? How are things going? I like how he was like, how hard is what you're doing? Because remember he was like taking logs of wood across the river, and the guy was like, it's hard, but we're doing it. I kind of like that, like things are hard, but like we're doing, like you're like checking in on them.
Yeah.
You're like learning how to get things done while checking in on people, while bonding on like, we're doing this.
It was a very like respectful connection.
Yeah.
It just seems like everyone meets each other where they're at here.
Yeah. Do you think you would be able to be completely fulfilled here, like find meaning living here?
I feel like I would get bored.
I feel like I would get bored too. Like we did everything in that one town. That's what I'm saying. It's like they have it all, but I don't know if they have it all though. What are you missing here that you have back home?
I just always like to try new things, and here there are not many things to try.
Right. That's what makes the U.S. so great, is there is everything in the world in the U.S. and people from all over. I feel like every time I go places, like especially in a place where tourism is their number one way they make money, you realize so many people's lives, like their meaning is based on tourism. And it's just interesting to see like their life is through kind of helping other people have good experiences. And it makes me think about like, what am I getting meaning from? Like when we were whitewater rafting and we met Harry, who was from France.
Yeah.
And I told him I was doing YouTube. He's like, oh, that's a very American thing to do. It's like, it's true. It's like, it feels like, I'm like on the internet recording myself on YouTube. Where in the rest of the world, everyone's living so much more simply, like, a lot less in the metaverse kind of thing. I don't know. I feel like what I'm missing that I have home back there is like, I mean, one, like we do just miss our friends in our community.
Yes, but also the more I travel, the more I realize that we are the fastest moving place in the world. Anywhere I've traveled, it's so slow.
Even China?
China is pretty fast too, but it's just like we work so much. We do so many things. So to being raised like that and living that way your whole life and then going somewhere here
And then
like
you get
this,
here and they're like,
it's just boring. It would be different to go to something slow, go somewhere slow to something fast, because that's exciting. But to go somewhere fast to slow, it's just like, wow, I'm bored.
yeah, I mean, I think we're both people who have a hard time, like we want to do things when we're on vacation. Like, would you say you have the I'll sleep when I'm dead mentality?
No, but I think that when I'm awake, I'm awake. I'm fully awake. I'm doing things.
Yeah,
I'm moving.
Right, I'm someone like when I go on vacation, I want to do things. I don't want to just sit around.
No, but I want a full 8 hours.
Yeah, right. No, me too. I want more than that, honestly.
You need your
Because
beauty
if I get
sleep.
10 hours, then that extra 2 hours, I'm going so much harder in my day. I'm going nuts the whole day.
Right, like when we're up, we're up.
Right. Okay, the sleep was a little, that's not what I was trying to get to. What's interesting is in concepts of like when I do like the meditation app, and they introduce like the Tao and Buddhism, and maybe you could speak to these, but there's a concept in Eastern religion of like you are born perfect. You are born with everything you need. And so when you are now an adult and the times where you don't feel perfect and you're in agony, all that, it's like you have to realize like you actually have in you everything to be perfect. And so when I think about our fast living lifestyle, it's like now we almost need that we almost need constant stimulation. Is that a bad thing? Like, is it better that they're living more simply in terms of happiness, which is probably the like true happiness, or is it better or is living faster actually a more fulfilling life? And that's actually better. It's actually better to add all this stuff and be able to keep up at a fast pace.
I think it's bad to live a fast life if you're using it to distract yourself from the things that really matter. But I think that we're level-headed in the sense that we know what's important. We're really connected in our communities and values.
Right. Like we're living a fast life to do meaningful things.
Yeah.
Or even over here, you could live a slow life and not do anything meaningful.
Right. We're not living a fast life to distract us.